Welcome back to another Bali COVID-19 update, and this is April 9th, 2022, and my name is Bruce. And what is the weather like today? Well, it was really sunny and hot today, but it is clouding up over the mountains. Clouds are coming in from the mountains, and over the sea, it is still beautiful. The wind speed is 7.4 kilometers per hour, and the temperature is a steamy 32.5 degrees Celsius, and the humidity is 55%. Thanks once again for those people that are giving me feedback on the new experimental version, and so far so good, and I appreciate all the comments, and yeah, I'm trying to keep it short and sweet. It's not easy, but I'm working at it. The main story for today is going to be a recap, a review of what the situation is right now as of the 9th on getting into Indonesia, because there's still confusion in some parts, and so I'm going to be doing this, and I'm going to be taking the information from the immigration website, and a link is below. Also from the Welcome to Bali website that is put out by the Bali Hotels Association and the official government circulars. And I'm trying to wrap this all up into one little bundle. If I leave something out, well, you can let me know, because with all of this stuff, it's easy to do. I was taking a look at the airport today in Biak to see what they had to say about this, and they have the wrong information up there. So it's important to cover your bases if you're going to come here, and I've said before, I'm a very cautious person. I would have copies on my phone, on my laptop, and hard copies in a folder that would be ready to pull out and show people. It's a good idea to check with the airport before you go there and make sure that you've got everything and that they're up to date. And so I've seen reports of people getting to the airport and being denied access to the airplane, or being denied entry to the airplane, because the airport didn't have the exact right information. Be careful and check. There's a lot of information out, and sometimes you get people say, well, we're the first one here to cover this. That's great. Somebody's got to be the first person, but I go with the slow but steady myself and try not to jump the gun. So we're going to take a look at this, and as I said, I hope to cover everything. If I haven't, make a comment, and we'll see what we can do about that. Okay, let's start off with the numbers. And the numbers they're steady. No biggies today. Under 2,000 nationally. National new cases, 1,755. National recoveries, 3,442. National deaths, 47. So the deaths are staying way down there below 100. Great news there. Bali new cases, 44. So we're in the ballpark as usual. Bali recovery, 71, and no deaths in Bali yesterday. So good news there. Okay, so the numbers are looking good, and vaccinations continue to go on throughout the island and around the country. Okay, so let's take a look at the main story. Here is a brief overview from the Welcome Back to Bali. I said Welcome to Bali, I think before. Welcome Back to Bali site from the Bali Hotels Association. Says what you need to know. COVID recovery certificate now accepted, conditions apply. PCR test on arrival will only apply to those that show symptoms or have temperatures of 37.5 degrees or higher during the health monitoring on arrival. Quarantine in a CHSE hotel resort village applies to those international arrivals only who test positive. The negative PCR test 2 times 24 or 48 hours before departure is still required. Health insurance with specific COVID recovery is still required. Proof of vaccination is required, or exemption or a recovery certificate. The Peduli Lindungi app is still required. You need to have that on your phone, but e-hack is no longer required for international travelers, but it is required for domestic travelers. Visa exemption arrangement is now available to passport holders from 9 countries, and it's valid for 30 days only and cannot be extended. So that's a overview of everything. And you can take a look at this website. There is so much information on the Welcome Back to Bali website. They're very careful about updating their information, so they're not always the first to update it, but they wait until things are official before they put it up there. Have they made mistakes? They made a few mistakes, but everybody that talks about this has made mistakes. And so that's just it. And that's why I say you need to check multiple sources and do the work before you come. Don't just take whatever somebody says, one person says, as gospel. Okay, let's take a look at visa entry requirements specifically for international arrivals on visa exemption arrangement, the visa on arrival, or the e-visa. So for visa exemption arrangement, that's only available for 9 countries, and those are the ASEAN countries. The VOA, visa on arrival, costs $500,000 per person, applies to adults and children, and the payment is made on arrival. The VOA is for a single entry into Bali or Indonesia, and you can stay up to 30 days, and you can renew it one time, and you have to do it at an immigration office. You can do it by yourself, or you can have an agent do it, but the agent's, of course, going to charge you some extra money to do it. Payment at the airport can be done by Visa, MasterCard, debit card, cash in Indonesian rupiahs, or foreign currencies. You really don't want to change money at the airport. You never get a good exchange rate. You get a much better exchange rate once you're outside. What are the airports where you can use VOA currently? There's the airport in Jakarta, Soekarno-Hatta. There's here, Ngurah Rai, Kuala Namu in North Sumatra, Juanda, East Java, that's in Surabaya, Hasanuddin in South Sulawesi, Makassar, Samratulangi in North Sulawesi, that's Manado, and Yogyakarta. Those are the ones that you can currently use to get a VOA when you come into the country. Who is eligible for the VOA? People from 43 countries, and listed them before, and here they are again. And here is a cool little chart. It shows everything, kind of puts everything together. This is well worth looking at if you want to get an overview of who is required to have what. And this comes from the Welcome Back to Bali site. Insurance. Yes, you do need to have insurance. And for your insurance, if you're not sure about it, you can get the Jaga Wisata insurance. Here's a link for it. It's good for 30 days, and if you stay for another 30 days, you can extend it. Not very expensive, 500,000 rupees. Let's see, what else am I forgetting? You do need to have a ticket out of the country. Where? Doesn't make any difference where. You could get a cheap ferry ticket, and you can order that online. It's very cheap, and then you just don't use it if you don't need to. Where can you stay? You can stay anywhere you want. Okay, I think that covers everything you need to know to get here. If it didn't, ask me a question in the comments below. Okay, we've got more planes coming in, not just to Bali. This is to Lombok. Scoot Tigerair, AirAsia to open routes to Lombok. The government has opened 10 airports, right, to Indonesia for international flights and tourists, and one of those is Lombok. According to Angkasa Pura #1 relations manager, Arif Haryanto, he said that the airport will serve AirAsia with Kuala Lumpur, Lombok round trip, and Scoot Tigerair from Singapore to Lombok round trip. And he said the airport is currently in preparation to be able to welcome international tourists, so it's not getting them now. He said, we are still waiting for the preparation of the carriers regarding the exact date of operations. So soon you will be able to fly into Lombok directly on an international flight, and that is very cool if you want to go to Lombok, so you don't have to come here and then take the ferry or fly over. You can go direct into Lombok, and I've done that in the past, and it's pretty nice. And Lombok has a lot of things going for it. If you've never been there, I strongly recommend taking some time and wandering around on the beaches and the cities. It's a lovely island and nowhere near as crowded as Bali is going to become in the near future, I hope. And here's a very interesting and very short segment about Lovina and Candidasa. Lovina and Candidasa asked for patience. Tourists still around Nusa. So according to the chairman of PHRI in Bali, he admitted that since the pandemic is moving down and Bali has opened up, the hotel occupancy is not distributed equally. Well, and we all know that if you watch any videos. He said tourists are still around South Bali, such as Nusa. Meanwhile, other areas such as Lovina at Candidasa, we're asked to be patient. If seen, the number of visits is still far from before COVID. Hotel occupancy is still only in the Nusa area. Okay, I heard Nusa was quiet the other day. To divide tours up to Lovina and Candidasa is still a matter of time. And ain't that always so? The Lovina area, so you know that I've been living up here for 32 years, and it has always been less crowded than any other places, and that is one of the beauties of it, is we don't get the huge traffic jams. We get them sometimes, but nothing like down south. And the weather is lovely up here. It's not as humid as in Ubud, for example. There's not a lot of crazy people like in Canggu. There's a lot of older people. It's laid back. The beaches are black sand, but they're beautiful black sand. And so we don't get a lot of people here normally, and I think it's still very quiet compared to what's happening down in some of the other places now as people come in. If you haven't been to North Bali, to Bulang and Lovina or Pemutaran or Arsani, this might be a good time to visit. Things are still quiet and the weather is getting better. And if you have kids, the water is calm up here, so your kids can play in the water, don't have to worry about waves crashing on them and taking them out. And so, yeah, welcome to Bulaling. And one more very quick one on more flights coming into Bali. Emirates plans flights to Bali and 3 other destinations. Okay, we don't really care about the 3 other destinations, right? We care about Bali. And in May, Emirates will begin weekly flights to Bali, and in July, they will begin daily flights. So, good news there. Okay, that's it for today. Keeping this really short. And this is Saturday, so this is my last Bali COVID-19 update until Monday. Tomorrow is Sunday, and I'll be uploading the cooking video on I Am Batutu. So if you found this video helpful, useful, informative, non-irritating, amusing, please consider giving a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm so that it gets spread, especially since I'm doing much shorter videos now on a daily basis. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone today. Stay safe. And I will see you with a cooking video tomorrow and another COVID-19 update on Monday.